carpool every week?
No. I'm just doing your mother a favor.
Do I have a fever? I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
You're fine.
Cindy, what did we just decide about bubblegum?
Sorry, Mrs. Gray. I, completely forgot.
Did you completely forget, or did you do something similar to completely forgetting?
What? This music sucks.
I will not have that language in this car.
I want to listen to my music.
Have you composed something?
Taylor's mom lets us play Eminem.
I will speak to Taylor's mom about that.
Cut it out! You're smushing me! You started it! Maxine!
Jonah, I have several decades on you. You will address me as Mrs. Gray.
He's hitting me!
No hitting.
He's throwing spit bubbles at me.
No spit bubbles.
Grandma, I figured it out. I think I'm car sick from all the swerving.
Lauren.
Oh my God.
What is going on back there?
I lost my gum.
Gross.
Please try and find it.
First, it's in my mouth. Then, it's totally gone.
Cindy, you are going to have to get clearer now. Is it totally gone, or is it as if the gum is totally gone?
Free? What? Move over.
Get off me. Jonah's sitting on me.
Maybe you're driving
Stop hitting me.
That's it. Everybody hang on. Get out of the car. Cindy, out of the car. Zachary next to her? Okay. I've had it with you people. Who drives the car? Me or you? Do you have a driver's license? No, you don't. Do you know how to drive a car? You do not. I am the one who has to be happy in carpool, not you. There will be tears tonight, and they won't be mine. Do you think this is funny? Spit that gum out. Spit it out!
It goes to your credibility, Amy, as a parent, not to mention as a judge.
That's completely unfair.
Of course it is. But look at it from their side. You testified to the Judicial Ethics Committee that you were not romantically involved with your CSO.
I wasn't. And I'm not. I told you he was not my CSO when that happened.
And was that the only time that something happened?
Okay, first of all, nothing happened. It was just a kiss. And to answer your question, no, we kissed 4 minutes earlier on the couch. Sadly, my window blinds prevented Helma Newton from getting a shot of that one.
Amy.
Can we put those away? I don't need to see them anymore. I was there.
Michael's not pulling any punches. You're in court all day. Do you know what a bomber is? It's a divorce lawyer who's partial to napalm.
Michael's hired a bomber?
Michael hired the Unabomber. I just got off the phone with that guy. You need to open your house to a court-appointed family relations officer for an observational visit.
What? Forget it.
Amy.
Tell Michael when he opens his house, I'll open mine.
He already did. Michael, Leisha, and Lauren were observed last weekend.
Lauren didn't mention anything about that.
Want to set a time for this?
Fine, whatever. You can come anytime. I don't have anything to hide. I gotta get going. I'm covering probate this morning. How bad is this gonna be?
Imagine brain surgery. Now take away the anesthesia.
We're in the cafeteria. He's got a tray full of desserts. And he turns to me dead serious and he says, Heather, do these scrubs make my ass look fat?
And the correct answer is, of course, no. It's the Pop-Tarts and the chocolate eclairs that make your ass look fat.
See? That would have been perfect. Where were you 5 minutes ago?
It's on the roof.
Smoking again?
No, I was looking for the bat signal. It's easier to spot from up there. Perfect consistency of roofing tar. I think I'll pass.
I've had worse. If you get a chance, you should refile those x-rays.
If I get a chance?
Seniority. I'll arm wrestle you for it if you like. Loser files them. Unless, of course, you're scared because you know I work out.
Come here, look at this.
Yep. That's a spine. I'd recognize it anywhere.
Second vertebrae right here.
Oh, God.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I think that's a break. It looks like a hangman's fracture.
How did you spot that?
A century ago, I was going to be a neurologist.
Right. Johns Hopkins. Show off.
Tell me something else. A C2 fracture means this guy goes directly to ICU, and his x-ray goes with him.
So what's it doing here?
That's what I'm wondering. He was released?
That's what it says. Otis Arnold, 49 years old, bicycle accident, sprained neck, released at 11:30 last night.
Sprained neck, it's a fracture. This guy so much as sneezes, he could sever his spine. He should be in the ICU right now.
Don't snap at me, doctor. I didn't release him.
Who did?
Read the damn file yourself.
I don't believe it.
What? Who's he attending?
Dr. Redeker.
Lily?
I am looking at a presumption of death motion. Mrs. Powell was petitioning the court to have her son, Matthew, legally declared deceased. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Powell, I take it that you are contesting this declaration of death.
Vehemently, Your Honor.
Well, I can only imagine what you two have been through, and my sympathies are with you. Mrs. Powell, your son disappeared 4 years ago?
Yes, that's right.
4 years and 3 months.
And you do understand the presumption of death would be automatic in the eyes of the court after 7 years?
Yes, I understand.
Mrs. Powell is pursuing the declaration now because she intends to file civil charges against the man she believes killed her son. A declaration of death would establish an estate for her son, which would in turn allow her to file a wrongful death lawsuit.
And the man you believe killed your son is...
He's in state prison on unrelated charges. He'll be up for parole next year.
Have criminal charges been filed against this man for your son's murder?
No.
Why not?
Because there's every chance in the world that Matthew is still alive.
I'm sorry, Mr. Powell. You will have your turn to speak.
The district attorney's office has its own agenda and moves at its own speed. We remain hopeful, but Mrs. Powell wants her day in court.
I'm not interested in damages, Your Honor. I want to know what happened to Matthew. I want my questions answered. And I want a court of law to find him guilty. This isn't about money. I want to see that this man doesn't get away with what he did to my boy.
Mr. Powell, you believe your son is alive?
I know he is. Look, right here, I have got private investigators' reports, testimonies from eyewitnesses who say they have seen Matthew, hundreds of leads collected from a website I set up.
We'd like the notebooks entered into evidence. For the last 4 years, my client has devoted his life to searching for his son. A declaration of death from this court will effectively and prematurely end the official investigation of missing persons.
Well, I'll need some time to go through this documentation, so I'll hear arguments...
This afternoon at 2 o'clock.
This afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Otis Arnold, A-R-N-O-L-D, 49 years old, African-American. My name is Dr. Labont. Thanks.
If he does come in, you need to have him lie down on his back looking at the ceiling, call 911, and then call me at St. Mike's.
Am I locked?
They said he only comes in there a couple nights a week. I have a list of other shelters.
I'll try his sister again. Kyle? You want me to talk to her?
Lily.
What's going on here? I was paged 3 times. I kept calling and I can't get through.
Yeah, we've been kind of tying up the phones.
Why?
In here.
Talk to me, Kyle.
You saw a patient last night, Otis Arnold.
I saw a lot of patients last night. We had 3 car wrecks in a row coming here.
Around 10:30, Chart said he was in a bike accident.
Yeah, I remember him. He had a sprained neck. What did I miss?
It's a fracture.
Let me see the film.
C2, right there. been trying to get a hold of him all morning, but so far no luck.
Give me his file.
Robert, what is this?
A basket of cookies?
I see that. What I meant was why. Has Sean achieved some personal milestone I don't know about?
From his client. Do you want me to pull up a chair for you? Get you some popcorn? That was our line, wasn't it? I'm just gonna be over here, far away from you.
Morning, Sean.
Oh, Maxine, I was just talking about you. This is Allison Shepard, one of our new foster parents. Allison, Maxine Gray.
We appreciate the help.
My pleasure.
Maxine here is the backbone of DCF. Which, of course, would make me the coccyx. I don't really know what that means. I just like saying coccyx.
Thanks again, Sean.
Right. Any other concerns, you know where to find me.
Great. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Gray.
Miss Shepard? Well, she seems very fond of you.
She's brand new to all this. Needed someone to talk to. All right, Maxine, what's the problem? Give me the stink eye. What's on your mind?
Nothing.
Okay.
I don't think we should be accepting gifts from foster parents or any other clients.
What gifts, Maxine? They're cookies.
Doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't look right.
How's it look?
It looks like an inappropriate relationship, and it looks as if you are encouraging it.
That is ridiculous. She's thanking me. I'm helping her through a tough time.
Yes, Sean, that's our job. We help people through tough times. We get paid for it. We don't get cookies, too.
What is wrong with taking some cookies?
Because sometimes cookies are not just cookies.
What? Look, we just placed a 14-year-old girl with Allison. A 14-year-old girl with a police record who's been in and out of juvenile detention. Sound familiar? So I've been spending a little extra time on this one because I thought it would be nice if this particular 14-year-old foster child didn't end up in prison. Allison chose to thank me by baking me cookies. If you have a problem with that, then don't eat the cookies. Fair enough?
6 weeks before Matthew disappeared, Darrell Wilkie, a repeat sex offender, was paroled from Vermont State Prison. At the time of Matthew's disappearance, Wilkie was living 3 miles from the Powell house in Connecticut. Witnesses report seeing Matthew the afternoon he disappeared, talking with a man in a rust-colored Dodge pickup truck. Darrell Wilkie drives a rust-colored Dodge Ram pickup truck.
Well, so far I'm with the state's attorney. Your case sounds circumstantial and without a body.
There's more. While searching Wilkie's garage, police found Matthew Powell's bicycle. When questioned, Wilkie claimed he got the bike at a yard sale and has denied any involvement in Matthew's disappearance. But a former cellmate of Wilkie's told investigators that Wilkie once said, "No one will ever find Matthew Powell's body."
And yet, despite all this evidence, the state's attorney's office is still unwilling to go forward and indict? Why do you suppose that is, Detective?
A murder trial without a body is always a gamble. No DNA evidence, the odds get worse.
Detective, I realize you're quite convinced that you know what happened to Matthew Powell. But are you pursuing other leads?
Absolutely. We pursue every lead that comes across our desk.
That's a lie. I have forwarded literally hundreds of leads to Detective Donahue, and I know for a fact his department has ignored half of them.
Your Honor, there simply isn't enough time or money to chase down every far-fetched anonymous report. Reports from psychics, tabloid reporters, armchair detectives.
Detective, isn't it true that if Matthew Powell is declared dead, there will be even less money and fewer resources available? And at that point, doesn't this case, for all intents and purposes, become closed?
In my opinion, and regardless of what happens here, this case is closed. I think you should declare Matthew dead and let these people move on.
Do you have any idea when your brother will be back? Has he called?
Otis doesn't care for the telephone. Either he shows up or he doesn't.
When he's not at your place, do you know where else he stays?
You been to the shelter?
We've been to 6 shelters and as many churches.
Well, he loves the holidays. Every church in town is giving away a free meal. You tried the Salvation Army? He helps out there this time of year.
We've already been there.
Then you've done what you can do. Otis, he's not one to leave a flight plan. Gets on his bicycle and goes.
Well, you have my number. If he does show up...
I know. On the floor, flat on his back, staring straight up. I got it.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? You guys don't really make a lot of house calls these days, do you?
It's rare.
What happened? If there's something wrong with my brother, and there must be, or you wouldn't be here, why did the hospital let him go last night?
It was an administrative error. Sometimes when things get chaotic and the ER gets overrun, the system sometimes loses track of a patient.
Looks like you could use a better system.
Yeah.
What the hell was that back there?
It looked like you needed some help. I was trying to...
Cover my ass? You were making excuses for me.
Well, yeah, we're on the same side here. I thought that's what we do. You watch my ass, I watch yours.
I didn't ask you to lie for me. Don't do it again.
There's a park down the street from our house. Matthew was 9 years old at the time, and all he wanted to do was ride his bike. I told him he could ride around the block while I pushed Kelly on the swing. He gave us a little wave, biked off, and that's the last time I saw him. A week went by, and another. And Matthew's picture was all over the television, the newspapers. Hundreds of volunteers were combing the streets for him, and it became clear that he hadn't gotten lost, trying to find his way home. Someone took him.
Mrs. Powell, how long had you lived in Cromwell when Matthew disappeared?
About 6 weeks.
How was Matthew adjusting to the move?
It was difficult at first. It's a big change, but he was really trying.
Did he ever threaten to run away?
Sure he did. Once a week. He was 9 years old.
And the day he disappeared, isn't it true that he was upset that morning?
Yeah, sure, he was upset. You want to know why? His sister finished the Captain Crunch. He was just a regular kid. He was unhappy one minute, bouncing off the walls the next. But he was starting to fit in. School had begun. He'd made a couple of friends. He didn't run away. And even if he did, he wouldn't have stayed away. Not for 4 years. Not without a word. You know that, Tim.
Sean, I thought you'd gone.
No, I have a late meeting.
Don't work too hard. Did you just shave?
Mm-hmm.
Well, didn't you shave this morning before you came to work?
Sometimes I do that, Maxine. Sometimes I shave twice a day.
Is the meeting tonight with your young foster mother?
Her name's Allison Shepard. She called me a couple hours ago. She needs to talk to me.
And she's on her way here.
No, meeting her downtown. A place called McGinley's.
You're meeting her at a bar?
They serve food, too.
Inappropriate, Sean. And it violates policy.
What policy?
Unwritten policy.
You know what? I'm the boss. I write the unwritten policy. I'm meeting her at a bar because it happens to be where she works. I would meet her here, but she only has a 20-minute break, okay? So do you think you could just back off just a bit and let me do my job?
All right.
Thank you.
Sean?
What?
You missed a spot.
No, I'm sure she didn't mean to compare your son to... Well, there are any number of ways to interpret that.
Oh, really? Those were her exact words.
Yeah, I guess that's not really open to interpretation, is it? Yeah, she called me too. No, I think it's a great idea. Okay, apologize to your son for me. What did you do?
No idea what you're talking about.
Carpool this morning. You terrorized the children.
I did nothing of the sort.
Did you not pull the car over, make the children get out of the car, and yell at them at the side of the road?
We had a discussion.
Mrs. Harriman, the third-grade teacher, saw your discussion. She said it looked like you were lining the children up for execution.
Mrs. Harriman? Is she not the one who locked herself in the greenhouse overnight?
That was a long time ago.
Oh, she's an idiot with tenure.
Mom, this is the last thing I need. You know, every time the phone rings, it's another angry parent. You know what they want to do? They're gonna boot me out of carpool.
They are not.
Well, they're all coming over here tomorrow night to discuss the problem.
Good. It will give me an opportunity to set things straight.
No, you will be at the movies or at dinner.
But we were going to decorate the tree.
Mom, you're not coming anywhere near this meeting.
Oh, Amy, that's ridiculous. Let me talk to them.
Absolutely not. You have done enough already.
You want me to get...
Don't you dare.
It's true, but we're not getting as many calls as we did the months after Matthew disappeared. Back then, the office fielded 400 or 500 calls a week.
What office is that?
The Matthew Powell Foundation. I started it 3.5 years ago to publicize Matthew's disappearance and coordinate the search.
It's quite an undertaking.
I took a leave from work.
And how many calls does the office receive these days?
It varies. As few as 25. It spiked to a couple of hundred last month when we went wide with this composite. I hired a forensic artist, a guy who used to work with the FBI to create this. We think there's a good chance this is what Matthew looks like now. He's 13 years old. In 1998, a similar type of composite was used to locate a boy who had been abducted 3 years earlier in Ohio. That boy is safe at home. It does happen, Your Honor.
So you don't believe Detective Donahue? You don't believe this Daryl Wilkie killed your son?
I think it is a significant lead, and it bears continued investigation, but I think there are any number of equally plausible explanations.
Such as?
I mean, maybe he's being held against his will. Maybe he's been hospitalized. I mean, he could be overseas. There was a case in San Diego of a 2-year-old girl who disappeared from her bedroom and turned up in Puerto Rico 7 years later.
Your Honor, these cases are the rare exceptions.
Counselor, I'm aware of the odds. I believe my son is still alive.
Despite all evidence to the contrary.
Your Honor, I have personally sorted through over 100,000 tips and leads regarding Matthew. I have heard from people who have seen him.
You've heard from lonely old ladies in crackpots. People who want to make a dollar.
Not all of them. What about Kelly?
Oh, Tim, please don't.
Who's Kelly?
Kelly's Matthew's sister.
You said you wouldn't subject her to this.
Kelly saw Matthew?
Last year at the town fair. You can ask her, she'll tell you.
I think I need to talk to Kelly.
Do you have that blood work for me?
What blood work?
Do the words even land in your head? Triage 2, the teenager. How many times do I have to ask for something?
Once would be nice.
You want to watch your tone with me, Doctor?
Dr. Redeker.
What is this?
It's the blood work on the teenager in triage 2. You asked me for it about 20 minutes ago.
Thank you. What do you want, a written apology?
You okay?
I'm peachy.
Maybe you should give yourself a break. Heather and I can cover the rest of the shift if you want to go home early.
Right, you mean before I kill someone else?
You didn't kill anybody, and any one of us could have made that mistake.
You didn't. You caught it right away.
Yeah, but it wasn't the middle of the night. I wasn't coming off a double shift, and I didn't have patients stacking up like airplanes over Bradley.
This is great. I don't even have to make up my own excuses. I'm getting my money's worth out of you.
Go home. You're just getting in the way here.
Hey, you haven't worked here long enough to talk to me like that. He's here. Call Connecticut Memorial Neurosurgery. Try and get Bobby Levin. Mr. Mr. Arnold.
Dr. Rediker, good to see you again.
You're gonna be all right. Is there any pain? Are you feeling okay?
Well, I was, but as soon as I took off my beard, I ran into 14 different people on the street. Told me that I was very sick and needed to get to the hospital.
Excuse me, sir, we're gonna need this gurney.
Yeah, no, and I understand.
He's worse.
14 people tell me to do something. I do it. Oh, damn, that hurt.
Mr. Arnold, we need you to lie down on your back, stare straight up at the ceiling, and try not to move your head.
I got Levinson on the phone. He wants to know who's assisting.
Tell him I am and tell him we're starting now.
You're gonna be just fine, Mr. Arnold. Coming through!
There's a fall carnival on the football field every year. Last year, my dad was supposed to take me, but he had to work at the foundation all weekend. So I went with my friend Rachel and her family.
And that's where you saw Matthew.
It's okay, you can tell her.
Me and Rachel, we were on the Ferris wheel because it was the only ride her parents would let us go on. In the middle of the ride, the Ferris wheel stopped, and we were just hanging there. And then that's when I looked down and I saw Matthew. At first, I wasn't really sure that it was him. So I shouted his name. And then he turned around and I got to see his face. And so that's how I knew that it was him.
Did Matthew see you too?
No. I don't think he knew who was shouting his name. He just walked away. After the ride stopped, I tried to run after him, but he was gone.
But you're sure it was him?
Yeah, it was definitely him. He was wearing, a red sweater.
Like in the picture?
Yeah. Yeah, like that. But it was probably a different sweater.
Yeah. Well, after you got off the Ferris wheel, what did you do?
Well, I called my dad, and he was there in like 10 minutes. The police and everything. They looked all over the place, but they didn't find him. When the police left, me and my dad stayed, and we kept looking until the fair closed.
Well, what about your friend Rachel? Did she see Matthew too?
No, she missed the whole thing. She didn't even know I saw Matthew.
But wasn't she sitting next to you on the Ferris wheel?
No. No, I was by myself.
Oh, I thought you said you guys went on the ride together.
Yeah, I forgot. We were on the ride together.
But she didn't see Matthew?
No. I don't think so.
Kelly, are you sure?
What, honey?
I didn't see Matthew.
Yes, you did, honey. You told me, remember?
I didn't see him. I didn't see him.
Why?
I just thought...
Kelly, why did you tell your dad that you saw Matthew?
Because I knew it would make him happy. And I just wanted you to be happy. I'm so sorry, Dad. I'm really, really sorry. Please forgive me. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry.
Morning, Sean. Are we trading desks again?
Here, take it.
What's this?
Transferring a case to you.
Allison Shepard. Is this your foster mother with the cookies?
You all right, okay? Should have transferred it weeks ago. See, it turns out...
She has feelings for you.
When we met last night, she asked my advice. She wanted to know if I thought she should take her ex-husband back.
What'd you say?
Well, there's all these reasons why she should. emotional support, financial assistance. I think the guy really likes her. Maybe they have a shot.
But?
But what I wanted to say was no. Don't do it. Don't take him back. You can do better. What was running through my head the whole time was, what about me? See, it turns out I have feelings for her.
What did you tell her?
I told her to come in today and talk to someone else. I suggested you. She'll be in after lunch.
I guess I have some reading to do.
He's going to be fine. He's got a significant recovery ahead of him, but he's out of the woods.
Oh, thank God. Can I see him?
In a few minutes, he's still out. Mrs. Arnold, there's something you need to know. We made a mistake here last night with Otis. I made a mistake. I didn't see what I should have seen on his x-rays, and I released your brother. So if he wants to hold someone accountable, or if you do, that person is me, Lily Redeker. I can spell it for you if you'd like.
You mean for the big lawsuit?
For whatever reason.
I was a waitress for 20 years. I understand pressure. Mistakes happen. Biggest lawsuit in the world won't change that.
No.
But I bet the farm he won't make this particular mistake again.
That would be a pretty safe bet.
You have the list of counselors? Talk it over with Megan and bring her by sometime next week.
Thanks so much, Maxine. You've been, everybody here has just been so helpful.
Well, spread the word. We can always use more foster families. You remember Sean?
Of course she does. Because it was just yesterday that...
I have to get back to work, so thanks again.
Say hi to Megan.
For what it's worth, she thinks the world of you.
Yeah. So what's happening with her ex?
He's moving back in. They're going to give it a try.
That sounds like a good plan.
Are you all right?
Yeah. No. I think I might be spending too much of my life on this job. Could be what's happening with Eric or the holidays, but sometimes it seems like I've got nothing outside of this place.
My daughter has banned me from the house for the evening. My fiancé's in China. How would you like to get out of here early and go get dinner?
That'd be nice.
The petition in front of me is a request for a court order declaring Matthew Powell legally dead. This is not a criminal trial. The law for such a ruling simply requires that the petitioner prove that the person, Matthew, was exposed to a specific peril and that it's more likely than not that he is dead. Tragically, I believe that the burden of proof has been met. I am ruling that Matthew Powell is dead. I will not minimize your loss by presuming that this ruling will ease your suffering or bring you any closure. That said, it is my hope that this ruling will motivate the state's attorney's office to take a closer look at the case against Darrell Wilkie. One way or another, Mrs. Powell, you will have your day in court. And I hope that you get the answers you need. Mr. Powell, I would encourage you to look at your family and see that as a parent, you still have a job to do. You need to honor the memory of one child without losing sight of the other. I can't tell you how to do that. But I hope you find your way.
Amy Gray? I'm Mitchell Raskin. I'm from the court.
What court? My court?
You have a court?
Let's start again. You are...
I am the family relations officer. You're involved in a custody dispute, is that right?
Oh, God.
I'm here to observe.
Now?
I believe we have an appointment. Is that a problem?
It's just not a good time.
Amy, we're all waiting for you.
Is there something going on in there you'd rather I not see?
Oh, forget it. Come on in.
Jonas said he'd rather take the bus to school than get back in that car.
Zachary's refusing to even go to school tomorrow.
Look, I know my mother's tough, but she didn't mean to hurt anybody.
What she did in that car was simply a form of abuse. I'm sorry.
Who was abusive?
Can we not use that word? Just dial it back a little bit. Why is he here? Who are you?
This is,
I'm a friend of the family.
I think we're all talking about the same thing. We're going to have to reduce the number of kids in the carpool by 1.
Carrie, please.
It's Terry. Anyone home? Amy!
Oh, for the love of God.
Hello. I'm Maxine Gray, Amy's mother.
Mama, I thought you were going to be out this evening.
Dinner ended early and all the movies were sold out.
No, they weren't.
It seemed to me that I should come back here and defend myself.
I'm glad you're here. I, for one, would appreciate hearing exactly what was going through your mind when you decided to verbally assault our children.
You must be young Zachary's mother.
That's right.
He's a very sweet boy. Bright, well-spoken, but he has a short temper. And his devotion, his passion for professional wrestling, it translates into a need for him to repeatedly punch and poke the boy next to him. And that boy would be, your son, Jonah.
Zachary punched Jonah?
He gets that from his brother.
He's a boy. He'll outgrow it. They all do. But until he does, I told him that he had to sit on his hands for the duration of the trip. And speaking of Jonah...
He said you yelled at him and gave him homework?
He complained about my choice of music. According to him, it sucked. And at that point, I insisted that he listen to Mozart. And yes, I told him that the next time I drove, he would be walking, unless he could tell me where Mozart was born and name 2 of his operas.
Mom!
Which brings me to your lovely young lady.
Oh, jeez.
No, and she really is quite lovely, especially when she's not spitting bubble gum all over her lap. And as you may know, I told her that I would fine her 5 cents every time she used the word like extra grammatically. She owes me 15 cents. I was just trying to make a point.
That's a great idea. I mean, I've been trying to get her to stop saying like every 2 seconds, but it's like impossible.
And that would be a nickel.
Mom. Well, as far as I'm concerned, Mrs. Gray, you can drive my daughter every day. I'd be honored.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize.
I never wanted to kick you out of the carpool. I was just going along with the group.
Then I guess this meeting is adjourned. Amy, was there anything else?
Nope.
Ladies, thank you for your time.
Is Lauren around by any chance?
She's sleeping.
Who are you?
This is Mitchell Raskin. He's from the court. He's here to observe my parenting skills.
Oh. How do you think it's going so far?
Before you go all Surgeon General on me, I did not come out here for a cigarette. I came out here to drop water balloons on unsuspecting patients, but this just seemed like a better idea.
I need to talk to you.
Don't let the cloud of secondhand smoke scare you off.
So what, you're just not going to let me apologize? Is that your strategy?
You have nothing to apologize for.
You were right. When we were talking to the patient's sister, I didn't want to tell her it was me. That I was the one that dropped the ball. That's why I paused. I don't know what I would have said if you didn't jump in.
I think you would have told her the truth.
What do you want out of this?
Out of what?
Out of this. You caught my mistake. You saved a man's life and my career. What do you want?
What do I want? I don't know. Buy me a burger sometime.
A burger. Right. You've got this major piece of leverage now. You are going to want something.
That's not how I look at it.
That's the way everybody looks at it.
Who's everybody?
Everybody I've ever worked with.
So apparently you've only worked with the most cynical and opportunistic doctors on the planet. Wow. Can I just say that your bar for normal human behavior is really low? And that comes from somebody who spent time in rehab.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. You're going to want something.
I like my burgers cooked medium. With thick steak fries on the side. I don't like curly fries. I never have. Have a good night, Doctor.
Kyle. Thank you.
You were great tonight, Mom.
Yes. Well, I have my moments.
I'm sorry that I snapped at you. I overreacted when I got all those phone calls. Should have just asked you what happened.
You have a lot on your mind.
I am terrified I'm going to lose Lauren.
Help me with these lights.
I keep looking at my life through Michael's eyes, and all I see are all the mistakes I've made. All the times I've let Lauren down.
You are a wonderful mother.
I could do better.
Yes, you could. Well, we could all do better. It's... Yesterday morning, while piloting that nightmare of a carpool, I briefly considered driving into oncoming traffic, but it passed. And next time, I'll do better.
No, there's not going to be a next time.
Huh. Imagine my disappointment.
Make the Yuletide gay. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Coming up next on TNT's Prime Time in the Daytime. Can the detectives see the true motives behind a seemingly random crime? Find out on Law and Order. Next.